I am now recording. Great. All right. So CTIC 10 calls, 317 expiration. They're rolling it to the 6 calls for 616 expiration, 285,000. You got DQ 50 calls for 317 expiration, 456,000 in premium. Tesla, a stock that I really don't pay attention to flow that much, but there was a buyer of the 135 puts for 519 expiration for over 5.3 million. URI 350 puts for 915 expiration, 1.72 million. So let's get started on ITUB. What did I see? As you can see, there's a lot of 4 puts and 4.5 puts being bought with size and premium. These big boys, 4.5. So all at the ask, 309,000, 6,300 in volume, 0 OI. Great small account play if you want to play it. It's around 49 cents. We'll see how it opens up tomorrow. If we look at the chart, or we can see this, I mean, look at the put volume, 10,349 put volume to call volume, put premium 515,000 to 3,000. So obviously this is leaning very, very bearish. So let's check out the chart and what we need to see here. All right. So what do we got? Let's delete this. So we do obviously have a support at 4.58, right? So it held here. There's a resistance here. Finally broke above. Support here. Some little resistance here as well. So what we're seeing is if it can break 4.58, see how this like area right here, this is going to be our next spot. So a clean break below 4.58. You could probably see a fill to 4.43. That's where these contracts will turn in the money, right? This stock is also below the 50 SMA, the 200, the 8, the 21. 21's crossing the 8, never good for the bulls. I believe dividends are out the way as well, which I mean, look at the dividends they give. I don't know who would buy this for dividends anyways. But so the key level is to see if it breaks below 4.58, a 4.43 gap fill will be nice. Now, as far as resistance, I would say at the highs of 4.76 is a good place. We're around here because, oops, I did not want to do that. Got some support here from what is that? November 23rd. Some resistance action here. Support bounce. So 4.77 could be a stop, but this is such a cheap premium. So even if it breaks above, you still got till December expiration if you're playing this, right? So again, 4.77. If you want to have a tight stop, you can stop here, but you would like to see a nice clean break below 4.58 for ITUB. Again, this is a 4.5 put for 12/15 expiration, over 308,000 in premium. Before I move on to the next trade, let's see, ask these questions. So I'm super new to all this, trying to figure out, do you always follow the flow from unusual whales to justify your trades? Not necessarily. I obviously, it helps me as a watch list throughout the day to help me figure out what stocks I would like to trade. But just because, let's say 14 stocks look abnormal as far as flow, doesn't mean I'm going to trade all 14. It just depends on what I'm feeling like risking, depending on how the market's moving. So again, just because there's 12, 15 stocks that that could show unusual flow doesn't mean I'm going to take them all. And again, I'm not. I mean, the win rate is pretty successful if you got matched with your charts, right? So the market has been pretty bad lately, as far as price action and everything. So again, the best thing you can do, if you know how to read flow well enough and match with your charts, you have a good chance. And I like to put time on contracts. It's insurance, right? The more time you got, the more insurance you have, right? So again, I'm not going to sit here and talk about a win rate as far as just using flow. But again, if you just have risk management, you follow your charts and understand how to read flow correctly, you'll be most likely profitable. So good question. All right, next position, AR 10 puts for 519 expiration, 509,000 in premium. Let's go back to unusual whales. We did see a 10 put for 519 expiration. These are literally only 25 to 30 cents. They bought it at 11,952 in size, 418,000 floor trade, 12,000 in volume. Later that day, or later today, the volume increased to 15,752 for another 5,000 in premium. Premiums going up to 0.35 to 0.4. So what do we got here? 557,000 total, 16,234 in volume. Again, it's an average of 34 cents a premium. Another great small account play that you can have. If you listen, you buy 10 contracts of these, you're risking $350. That's it, right? So this is a great, small account play. Yeah, so again, this definitely catches my eye. Obviously, we just talked about the put volume, 99.9%. Now, if you look at the chart, let's delete this. Obviously, I've been charting. I'm seeing these. So we do have a support at around 11.2, bounce here, or held here, but finally broke below. We are below the 200 SMA, the 21, the 8, the 50. Daily candle is below 11.2, so we did hit a low of 10.99, which actually matches with the 1219 support. There is some support at 1.5 as well and 1.10. So again, if we break 10.99, 11 is like basically a psych number, right? If it breaks 11, we do have some room to hit a 10.8, but we obviously want a bigger move than that. So around 10.54. This is going to be the range that we want to see it fill. It's around here. Now, if you are worried about, not losing, let's say $350, if you have 10 contracts of this, 11.2, there is a resistance here. Honestly, for this small of a contract, I would just put in however much you're willing to risk and not really worry about a stop, to be honest with you. But if you wanted to stop, there is some resistance at 11.34 or 32 from this area back in 1.6. You can also use a 200 SMA, which is around 11.36. Whenever a stock reclaims a 200 SMA, it's for the most part bullish. So you can also use that as well. But I would like to see a clean break below 11, 10.54 as a target. Earnings out the way, which is always good. The whales are in deep. So let's see how this one does. We got next. SI4 puts. This was a crazy trade from 2 nights ago. We spotted it. Today, the stock was down 56%. The contracts for the 13 puts that were unusual were up like 600%. I mean, there were some, for that specific contract, there were some weeklies that were up like 5,500%. A crazy day for SI. They were still hitting puts in this stock, which is insane. 57% down. So saw a lot of 5 puts. We got to make sure they were being bought at the ask. So these are all basically buying at the ask, right? Ask volume increasing, the intraday options volume decreasing, but a lot more puts than calls for sure. These are the 5 puts. 4 puts, obviously we're getting slammed. I mean, all day, right? It's getting nuts. We saw some 2.5 puts as well. But one that really stuck out to me was the 4 puts for next week's expiration. So these ones right here, 728,000 in total now. 15,475 in volume as well. So lows were actually, yeah, someone turned 31K to 1.3 million. Yeah, it's nuts. It's crazy what can happen if you hit these, right? Now that person could have also lost 31,000 as well. Okay, so these things don't happen frequently, but when they hit, you can see they hit, right? So there's really not much to chart SI, to be honest with you. I mean, it's at the lows of the low, right? If it does break the highs of 8.55, right? Or this support at around 10.48, people might say, hey, that's so short that might squeeze. Maybe, right? You never know. Honestly, there's been news of bankruptcy for stocks, and stocks run up 30-40% in a day. So this is something that I would possibly not touch personally, just because it's one of these bankruptcy shorted, just trash company stocks. So you got to be careful. You got to be careful. So if you wanted to play short, I guess just below low of 5.66 is literally all-time low. But hey, stocks can always go lower, right? So there's really not much to chart on SI, unfortunately, but they are still hitting the 4 puts, the 5 puts. It's all over. CTIC. So yeah, we saw these 6 calls today. 3,000 in size, 258,000 in premium, 3,000 in volume. I just realized earnings are coming up, so this might change my thoughts on this. But as you can see here, the 10 calls of 317 got rolled to the 6 calls, the 616 expiration. So they're actually going closer in the money, right? Higher delta. They're adding time into his expiration. So they added 3,000 size for 258,000, right? So again, they're still bullish. They are just buying a closer in the money contract. If you look at the chart, what do we got here? Actually, I think I played this stock a while ago. So, okay, I mean, we don't really have to change the chart really much here. There was an ascending trend line that actually broke, but it did hold this pretty major support here. And now that I think about it, earnings are 3.6. So for now, if you want to be in this trade, 5.33 has to hold. If not, I could see this stock heading back down to lows of 5.18. Okay, so this area right here, I bounce at 5.18. If it holds, we can see some resistance at 5.54. Right? You got the 50 SMA, which was around 5.57. Yeah, I know it doesn't sound like big moves, but with the biopharma stocks like this, small cap companies, honestly, it does move, right? So if it could break 5.54, it would be nice to see this stock hit this major resistance, right? Because it's been consolidating in this little area. Right, so if it could break 5.54 and holds above the 200 SMA, 6.1 is not far away. The only problem is that there's earnings coming up. So you could possibly play. These guys are adding time. So hopefully, if it doesn't break 5.18, they're adding time and but hit that 6.1, right? So this one's a pretty interesting play, I should say, of what I am seeing. So we'll keep an eye on this. What are your unusual whales filters to find these option purchases? I will put the link right here, I believe. Yeah, it's should be somewhere there in that what's it called? In that section. Let's check out. Yeah, so we saw FRC 115 puts, 1600 in volume, 800 size for this order. In total, 768,000, 1,683 in volume, mostly at the ask, average of 457 in premium. The contract, obviously, we see a jump in volume from 3.1 to 3.2, which is always good. Someone really kind of knows something. If you look at the chart, so yeah, I mean, all day, right? 12.28 seems like this could have been one single buyer, and then they added more at 12.33. FRC. Okay, so what do we got here? So we have a 115 put, right? So we have the lows. A 118.98. Right, so we see some resistance, or I'm sorry, support that holds here back in December, right? And it held and pushed higher, right? This kind of, this is a pretty big spot. If it breaks 118.98, I mean, what do we got here, right? There's some mini support here, but I would expect it to hit this support around 116.33. So these option buyers are expecting the underlying to hit around 115. They buy the 115 puts. So there is some areas to fill. If it breaks below 118.98, if it breaks 116.17, to be honest with you, this thing could drop pretty fast, right? To around 110. I don't want to do that. Yeah, it's around, let's just do 111. So again, 118.98 support, probably your first big stop, and then 116 can fill. If not, I would probably say there's a resistance back here. Old resistance we use now at new, right? So, it saw that it held 121.89 multiple times, but finally gave it up, right? So a stop above 121.89, if you want to get out of this contract. So this is a pretty big spot. So again, they were tagging the 115 puts for 421 expiration, 248,000. All right. Any other questions in chat so far? You guys have any other questions? No? Not deep. All right, no questions. Chill. Listen to Kian talk. Oh, Desi. Desi trades. I was gonna say, drinking on a Thursday night, huh? I know you're that degenerate. It's chill. So Desi, officially welcome to the team, man. Huge start. DQ, 50 call buyers for 317 expiration. How would the FRC offering play into your trade? Ooh, they gave us stock off. Wait, what? Did I miss news on this stock? That came out after hours or something? If so, then I would probably just wait to how the stock reacts. Back on 2.8. Oh, okay. No, so it honestly wouldn't change a thing. It wouldn't change a thing. That was almost a month ago. So it really won't matter now. I would just play the key levels. Play the key levels. They did buy for DQ 50 calls, 317 expiration, 2,500 in size, 354,000, over 3,000 in volume. They added a small 6K later in the day. Oh, this is actually a different contract. My apologies. Yeah, so at the ask, 189,000, 3,400 in volume, average of 141 a contract. So again, these are all at the ask, right? It's all call premium. So they did buy this in position. So let's see the chart. What do we got here? We got some resistance here, right? 49.01. So breaks above 49. We got some room. There's some tiny resistance around here, but that shouldn't be a problem. Psych number is going to be around 50. So got some room here. This little supply area. All right, so breaks of 49.01, 50.79 is going to be your next target. So I mean, if it breaks that, you got the the 200 SMA as your next target, which is around 53.88. So that's gonna be a nice move, right? That would be a nice move if it can pass this resistance. So this is a big spot. Wow, this actually is a nice set. If it can actually go 8 crossing at 21 to 50, curling higher, earnings out the way. And their earnings are really bad though. 7 EPS versus 5.17 actual. But again, as long as it clears 49.01, it's got some room to 50.79, and then 200 SMA could be magnet. So they are buying the 50 calls for 317 expiration, 456,000. Ernco, what's up, brother? All right. Tesla. I know I've said it multiple times that I do not trade, or I'm sorry. Yeah, basically, I don't trade Tesla based on flow just because, as you can see, how messy it is. There's calls and puts, calls, puts, calls, puts. But there is one contract that we saw. Shout out Snorlax. He caught it as well. It was. Don't disappear on me. Okay. Where is it? Let me just do this. Let me just show you guys this. Here we go. 5.6 million in the 135 puts for 519 expiration, right? This was a notional buyer. This is huge, right? 5.6 million in this position. Now, why is this important? Obviously, Tesla, oh my God, that's how much I chart Tesla. Tesla today, even with that pop in the market, Tesla barely reacted, right? So sellers were basically kind of in control, right? QQQ made a pop, ES made a pop, Tesla did not react, right? So definitely a lot of weakness, okay? So now it's out of this kind of consolidation range, right? Look at this. The 21 looks like it's about to cross the 8. If Tesla stays below 194, I mean, this can make a run. We first got 183 support, so I would expect it to hit 183.49. If it breaks below 183.49, this could start having a pretty gnarly sell, right? So again, what really caught my eye was when QQQ started to bounce, today and started squeezing a bit. Tesla just wasn't showing any love. So as long as it holds below 194.12 or around there, 183 is my next target, and it could probably, what do we got here? 165 is a gap from here, from the 11th November 22nd support. So big moves can happen, especially the market shows more weakness. 165 could be a place that could hit. So there is Tesla, stock that I rarely use, but it's okay. This one caught my eye. And last but not least, buy some put debit spread. Yeah, I am short Tesla. I will give you that. Not financial advice. All right, where is UR? There we go. All right, so URI was getting absolutely hammered today. The 350 puts for 915 expiration. These are a little bit expensive premiums. Around 11, average of 10.9 million. I'm sorry, not 10.9 million. 10.9 the contract. Over 4 million in total. Okay, 3,700 volume, which is massive for a contract that costs over $10. So again, this is a pretty hefty size. 915 expiration, and I do love this chart. Did I just? There you go. So what do we got? Let's delete this. We got the highs, obviously, right? We have a resistance of 472.08. So this could be a good place to stop. If you're short, this could be a good place to stop, because if it breaks 472.08, the highs of today, got some room to run to obviously the highs of 475, right? Now we got 459 daily support, right? There was a bounce here, some resistance, right? Multiple times around this area. So old resistance is acting as new support. The 21 SMA is actually crossing the 8 SMA. So below 459, we got some room to run. Now, if you want to catch maybe a shorter term trade, around 463.09 could be a good spot to maybe have a starter position. There's been some resistance here, now acting as a new support. So again, this could make a pretty big move. If it breaks below 459, we do have some support, major support at 446. I did not want to do that. Or you can just find the support, yeah, around 446 from this candle on 2.3 and then 2.10. And finally held here as well in 2.23. So 463 is probably a good spot. Maybe to start a position, as long as it holds below 472.08. 459 could be your first target, then 446. Microsoft, yeah, I'll do one more. I just want to say thank you to all you guys joining in. Appreciate it. Not much on Microsoft is kind of mixed. Nothing crazy. Yeah, it's kind of even, but if you want to look at the charts, you got some resistance here, right? So we have a resistance back from October, right? And then obviously that massive rejection. So around 251.4, 245 support, 50 SMA is around 246.66. So again, it's kind of just consolidating in this area. So above 251.4, below 245, 245.6. So that's going to be definitely a good spot. It's still above the 8 SMA. 200 is right there, holding above the 50 SMA. So again, it's actually showed strength, almost 2% today. Again, kind of just in this range, 251.4 and 245.6. Yeah, Google calls. Yeah, Google. I mean, man, it's been rough for the flow, guys. 519, 315 call. I mean, I can check. I gotta find it. Nuts. I'll do some research on it. I'll see what I can find. But as of right now, I'm not. Oh, here we go. So it seems like they got out some there. OI carried over 18,000. Seems like they're still holding some. Yeah, they could still be in, to be honest with you. More bids than asks, though, so I'll keep an eye on this one, actually. All right, ladies and gentlemen, that's going to do it for the Poseidon notable flow show. This is recorded, will be posted on YouTube. I will post the premiums and contracts on Twitter as well. So everything will be there just in case if you guys missed anything. I appreciate you guys all tuning in, and we'll see you Monday. Is that a floating shake? No, this is just water. This is just water. Yeah. All right, ladies and gentlemen. Have a great trading day tomorrow. Wish you the best. Enjoy the rest of your night. Peace.